it's Camilla, and today I'm going to be doing a review of A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. So, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was really good as an opener to this new series by one of my favorite authors ever. I love her Throne of Glass series, and they just get better as the books go on. So, I'm hoping the same thing happens to A Court of Thorns and Roses. I love this book, the plot is great, and some of the characters are amazing, but I have tiny problems with both, which is why it didn't get the full 5 stars. My first big problem is the main character, Feyre. Feyre bothered me because she wasn't the smartest main character. And I'm not even talking about the reading issue, I'm just saying in general her judgment of people, mostly. She constantly made bad deals and bad decisions and just never made the right choice, which led to all of the problems in the book. So Feyre, can you do something right? I'm hoping this will be like a character development thing, and that in later books she'll get to be like this awesome character, kind of like Selena is. Selena's just awesome from the beginning, and I'm hoping Feyre develops to be that awesome. Another problem with Feyre was that people kept giving her really good advice, and she never listened to it. I don't think she listened to it once. It was all, spoilers, don't drink the wine, Feyre. Maybe I should drink that wine over there. Don't come out tonight, Feyre. I think I should go to that bonfire party thing. That looks like a good idea. You're in danger, Feyre. You should leave. Oh, actually this one time that you're wrong, I think I'll listen to you. Why? Oh, and so when she was under the mountain and she made that deal with the queen, I'm gonna have to look at her name, hang on. Amarantha. So Amarantha makes the deal with her, tricking her, of course, and she says that she'll release Tamlin if Feyre completes the 3 tasks that she has to do, or if she solves the riddle. She has 3 months to work on this riddle, with nothing to do but sit in a cell. Admittedly, dying half the time, but still, 3 months. Me, once I passed that part, I didn't stop reading the book. So I gave it about a minute of thought maybe, and I solved the riddle. I mean, I guess it's her life, so she can't see that it's one of the main ideas of the book, and that of course it would be the answer. But, Feyre, you had 3 months! You had 1 job. Well, that and the tasks. You had 2 jobs! Another problem I had with this book was Tamlin. I didn't really like him. He's kind of like 4 from Divergent or Dimitri from the Vampire Academy series. He's that kind of like stoic male figure that doesn't show much emotion, which personally I don't like that much. Like, he was okay, I guess. Feyre loved him, I know that, but I personally didn't. Which was made even worse when he didn't show emotion for half the book. And I know that he was trying to keep Amarantha from knowing what bothered him, but this is the girl he's in love with. You'd think he'd lose control sometimes and just not be able to keep himself from showing emotion. And he's just there like, oh, she's dying. Oh, look, now my best friend is dying. This is nice. Those were the 2 characters I disliked the most, which makes me sad because they were the 2 main characters. However, I have to say, the good characters definitely outweigh the bad in this book. Even though they're mostly secondary characters, I loved these characters so much that they definitely make up for Feyre and Tamlin's flaws. One of these characters was Lucien. Lucien was my favorite character in this whole book. He was sharp and funny, and he had that tragic backstory, and honestly, for a while, I thought he was going to be another love interest and be part of a love triangle with Tamlin, because, I mean, if I had been taken, I would have forgotten about Tamlin and been like, hey, Lucien! But no, Feyre went for Tamlin for some reason. I don't know why. My one problem with Lucien, which isn't even like a thing about his character, he was always the trap. Couldn't Amarantha get more creative? It was like, if you don't tell us your name, we shall kill Lucien. If you don't complete this task, Lucien will die. If you do anything wrong ever, and Lucien tries to help you, Lucien will be dead. Couldn't she come up with another trap? But that's not really about who Lucien is, it's more how he was used. So, not really too big of a flaw. It actually made me care about who was getting hurt, so, I guess that's a plus. kind of. Another character who I loved was Rhys. Rhysand. Am I saying his name right? I started off hating Rhysand because of just who he was. When he meets her, he's kind of creepy, and then we find out that Tamlin doesn't like him. We're kind of like, oh, who is this guy? But turns out he's an awesome guy. Is it bad that I'd rather her end up with Rhys than Tamlin? He is definitely going to be the other love interest. If this book series is going to have a love triangle, which I think it will, it'll be Rhys versus Tamlin. Just because there's that whole deal she made with him where he gets her for 1 week a month. So something is going to happen. She's going to start having feelings for him and is going to mess everything up. Even once we found out he was nice, he was kind of a douche, but he was still one of my favorites somehow. I don't know how he did that, but he did. I guess that's it. I'm stuck liking him now. The reason I like Rhys so much is because he's such an interesting character. He's complicated, he's messy, he's like a gray area. You're never quite sure if he's good or bad or whose side he's on. And that makes him one of the most interesting characters to read about because you're trying to figure out his motives and figure out what he wants. But I'm not quite sure. I hope we'll find out in the next book. I hope we'll see a lot of Rhys in the next book. Another interesting character in this book was her father. I liked him at first when he was the only one who said goodbye to her when Tamlin took her away. But as the book wore on and I got to like her sisters more, especially Nesta, I stopped liking her dad so much because he didn't try to protect his daughters when they were at their worst. And one of Feyre's sisters was Elaine. And I really liked Elaine at first because she was sweet, she was nice, she was friendly, and she wasn't pushy and mean like Nesta. But as the book wore on, it turns out she's kind of selfish because Nesta kept from forgetting by not wanting to forget, but Elaine just kind of let that get wiped away. And even once she remembered, she didn't try to stop her from leaving. So actually, my opinion of Feyre's sisters flip-flopped because at first I really liked Elaine, but then I stopped liking her so much and I really loved Nesta. She was such a great character. The first moment I liked Nesta was the moment when Tamlin showed up and Feyre thought her family was going to die and she realized that Nesta would die to give Elaine time to run. Until then, we just knew that she resented her father and she resented Feyre, but as soon as we found out that she loved Elaine enough to be the distraction, that was the first moment I liked her. And then, of course, I liked her so much more at the end of the book once we found out that she remembered and she was there for Feyre. She tried to help her, and in the end, she told her to not come back and to stay where she was happy, and that was so perfect. The plot overall was super interesting. I loved the kind of twist on Beauty and the Beast because it was predictable up to a certain point, but the whole thing with the trials under the mountain was definitely unexpected. There were 3 main problems I had with the plot. One was the riddle thing I mentioned before because she really should have been able to solve that. Another one was that a lot of the big twists I saw coming. Nothing in this book really caught me by surprise. I saw that Tamlin was going to be taken under the mountain, or that she'd somehow mess up on the tasks or get hurt, and the only thing that would save her would be the riddle, which she'd solve at the very last minute as she realized it was about her life. And the thing about her being Fae at the end, saw that coming. Sarah J. Maas really likes her Fae characters. You can only pull that once! But my biggest problem with the plot was definitely that Feyre didn't say, "I love you," when Tamlin sent her away. She had no reason not to. She loved him, she knew him, and he had already said it twice. She should have said it. He said it. She just had to say, "I love you too." But she didn't, and that's why the whole second half of the book happened. I get that that needed to be there to move the plot along, but I wish she would have had a reason not to say it, like if Isaac Hale had broken her heart when she told him she loved him and then he left her. That would have been a good reason for her not to say it, but she never really loved Isaac, so that didn't work. By the way, did anyone think that Isaac Hale maybe means that Sarah J. Maas watches Teen Wolf? It's like Isaac Leahy and Derek Hale mashed together. The major pros of this book were definitely the way she came at a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, which I loved. I also loved the backstory on Amarantha and her sister and Julian. When I got to that part, I was just like, oh, this should be a book. Like, there should at least be a short story about Amarantha and her sister and Jurian. that was perfect. I just loved that backstory. It made so much sense why she was evil. And of course, all the Lucien scenes, just all of them, I loved. And also Tamlin's awkward attempts at flirting in the beginning were great. Overall, I thought this was a solid start to the series. I liked the plot. I think it could have been improved a bit, but the plot isn't what drew me to this book. It was definitely the characters. Even though I didn't like some of the main ones, the side characters definitely sold me on it, and I can't wait to see how these characters evolve. I will definitely be picking up the next book. So what did you think? Tell me your favorite parts below, and tell me what you think is going to happen in the next book. I think she'll stay with Tamlin, but maybe she'll start to fall in love with Rhys when she's at the night court, and she'll be struggling with her new Fae side. That's what I think is going to happen. But as far as the big bad, I think they're going to have to bring in that king from the west, because they got rid of Amarantha, so the threat has to be the king. But maybe Sarah J. Maas will save that until later for like a big finale. So who could be the bad guy next book? It could be the Autumn Court and Lucien's brothers, or maybe something human. I'm not sure, but I can't wait to see what she does. So that's it for this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!